What's up, why you shit? And continuing last time what we talked about recommendations to stuff, today we're going to talk about movies, but not standard movies, anime movies. Yeah, and I got my giant cup that's almost completely empty of a hot beverage, not specifically tea right now. It's a new awesome hot beverage that I discovered that works really amazingly. And I'm not going to tell you what it is though. Yeah, it's date honey, which is Ceylon. It's called Ceylon State Honey. It's Mediterranean. And you just use that and then hot water, and then it smells terrible and you don't want to drink it at all. And then you add in like soy milk, and then it suddenly tastes like caramel. I don't know how, because it's disgusting 1 second, then you add in the soy milk and then it tastes like caramel. It's like 3 ingredients and it's amazing, and I have no idea how it works, but it's suddenly tasty. So that's what I've been drinking for a while. But moving on to what we actually should talk about today. So why you should watch some anime movies, really, because they're incredible. I don't know if, some people probably know most of them because if you watch anime, you probably watch these because they're pretty big, and clearly there's a million movies to talk about. I'm going to tell you my top 5 of anime movies. Yeah, it's like, there's videos where there's lists, top 5 best blah 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 blah. So I'm going to do that without any editing whatsoever, just talking to you with my giant mug. So, no particular order, right? These are movies that I really, really like and I can always watch like a million times over. I think they're just absolutely excellent and I love them so much. The first one is Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke by Miyazaki. Miyazaki is a pretty huge name in terms of anime movies. He's made a million of them, and they all won a million awards. So he's a huge name. If you've never heard of him, he's huge. Okay, most of these movies, you should watch most of these movies. Like, all of them, probably. But the best, I think, the ones that I love the most out of the ones that I did watch is Princess Mononoke, which is a really long movie. It's like 2.5 hours of just an incredibly amazing tale of these wonderful characters. And saying any more will just ruin it. Just watch it. It's so good. It just puts you into this world. It creates such an incredible world. I think that's one of the strongest things about it. You just get connected to the world so much, and then can get connected to the characters and try and understand the entire reasons why people do things. And what's really lovely about it is no one is really evil or no one is really good. Everybody has their own reasons to do things, and it's those reasons and that decisions that they make that it's so good, and all of that in a fantasy setting, which is, buys me instantly. I like fantasy stuff. There's, in terms of being a nerd, there's sci-fi and fantasy, right? So I'm a fantasy 100%. Screw sci-fi, fantasy all the way through. So that's Princess Mononoke. The second one is Howl's Moving Castle, which is also by Miyazaki, which is just a wonderful story. It's really good. I really enjoyed it out of all the other ones. They're all fantastic and insane and crazy and beautiful, but these two are the ones that really spoke to me the most. Howl's Moving Castle, it's also it's a beautiful kind of love story. I don't know if it's really a love story, but it's really, really great, and I just enjoyed it so much. It ended so well. It ended in a rather kitschy manner, I guess, but it made me smile so much that I couldn't stop smiling and my face hurt. That's the amount. So that one. So those are the two that are probably very, very well known. And there's 3 others that I also want to talk about. The first one is Vampire Hunter D. Now there's 2 movies, one from '85. You don't have to watch that one. And the second one's from around 2000, I think. And it's called Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. You don't have to watch the first one or watch the second one. The second one, it's not the greatest movie ever, and it didn't win a ton of awards, but it has really, really, really awesome characters and story and world. Not necessarily the story, but the world is absolutely fantastic. And it's such a world that I want to know more. I want more, and there isn't much more. But, oh my lord, the character is so fantastic, and out of all, today, it deals with vampires, clearly, and werewolves and all that lore. Today, vampires suck. I mean, Twilight? Come on, vampires used to be badass. So this one depicts vampires as they should be, insane and badass. And that's one of the things that I really like about that movie. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust is just a spectacular hour and a half of action and just so it's good vampires like they should be. Okay, like Hellsing, like badass crazy stuff if you're familiar with Hellsing specifically. So that's Vampire Hunter D. I absolutely love it. The other one is, and there's two more. The last two, the first couple ones have a lot of action, I'd say, in them. These last two really talk about relationships between people, and they're a little bit more experimental, I'd say. The first one is 5 centimeters per second, which is considered quite a lot. It tells you 3 lovely stories, if I remember correctly. I haven't watched in a while. It tells you 3 lovely stories about connections and relationships between people. It is not for everyone, but if you get connected to it, it is really, really touching and very, very moving. And also the art style there is I mean, the actual animated stuff is amazing in terms of how pretty it is, which usually doesn't matter to me at all, but that is just pretty as hell. It's so pretty. It's pretty. So that's 5 centimeters per second. And the last one is called Eve no Jikan, or just Time of Eve in English. It's just Time of Eve. This is actually a web series, I think. Yeah, it's a web series that has episodes, but they put it all in one movie that's about an hour and a half long. So just watch the movie instead of watching the episodes. It's the same thing. The movie has a little bit more here and there. They actually did a Kickstarter, which was successful, and it's really, really good. I watched the movie, the series, the couple of episodes. It's about 6 episodes or so, and then I watched the movie. Again, they're exactly the same, but it tells you the story about that you've heard a million times before, probably, about androids and robots that are like humans and the problems that you get with that. It's been covered in a million other stories, but it takes it in a very, very, very unique way that I've never seen before, and it's absolutely spectacular. It's very interesting. The way that the connections between humans and robots, it's incredibly interesting, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch that if you're into those very specific type of stuff. If you're like, iRobot and Asimov and all that crap, then Time of Eve is really up your alley, because it's just phenomenal in that sense. And yeah, those are the 5 that I really like. There's a million more. Anything by Miyazaki you should watch. If you just look up Miyazaki, you'll find all of his movies, don't worry. And there's a lot of others that are really interesting, and what I like about animated movies is that they allow you to do things that real life, live action, they call it, live action movies don't allow you to do. Very spectacular fantasy settings. What I like about anime in general is that they usually take a standard situation and then put one magical fantasy insane element into it and see how it affects life. And that to me is super interesting and incredible. That's in most cases, in the other cases it's usually just awesome action, which is also fun at times. But most of these are really just talking about the relationships between people with this fantastic elements, and that's what makes it so incredible. Except for Vampire Hunter D, which is just action, I think, and an awesome world. Yeah, so those are the anime movies that I think anybody should watch. And that's it. I'm going to keep drinking my weird concoction of just 3 things, which should be disgusting, but for some reason it's absolutely delicious. So you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.